Hello, everybody. It looks like it's time. Let me move my microphone. Let me get ready. I've had all day to prepare, and I have done nothing to prepare, except, oh my gosh, I've been freezing all day. Has everybody been cold all day? My feet have been freezing. It is a little bit chilly out here. Happy President's Day. So we're going to be talking about President's Day. We're going to be talking about the snow. We're going to be talking about, I don't know, temperature differentials. Should be fun. Do me a favor, as soon as you get here, check on in. Hello, Darla Stewart, you whooped. Dawn's behind today. Hello, Greg Myers, Logan Calcaterra, top three. Darla, Greg, and Logan. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Darla, Greg, Logan, welcome to the big show. Hello, Don Ledger. Bruce, all the way up in Alaska. Hello, Susie. 69 degrees over there in Arizona with Dawn. That's so funny. The rest of us are freezing, and Dawn's like, I wonder whether I should wear my blue short sleeve shirt or my red short sleeve shirt. That is so funny. All right, I've got my coffee. I got my other beverage. I think I'm ready to go. I don't know. We're gonna find out whether I'm ready to go. I have to check one thing on my page. Let me get this up here. Let me change that because I got some comments. I made a comment about the media, and we're going to talk about that. So, all right. Let's see. Here we go. It's the big show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hello. Hello. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. I didn't even have the camera set up. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey, and this is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for middle Americans that are currently snowed in all across our country. We are just getting the snot beat out of us by Mother Nature, and it is absolutely crazy what's going on out there. In Bossier City, Louisiana last night, I was there when the first snowflakes fell at my dad's address. And it wasn't really snow. It was little bitty, teeny weeny, tight, little bitty ice things falling from the sky. And you could blow and they would just move. It was the craziest thing. So in the big picture of things, it was light and fluffy. And you couldn't even make a snowball out of it. If you picked it up, you had to hold it in your hand, let a little bit of the water melt, let a little bit of the ice melt into water so it would stick together. And I didn't do a lot of that because that stuff was cold. But right now, it is well below freezing, like it is. We checked in with several of my brothers and sisters throughout the United States of America, and they are frozen as well. Not too bad down in Georgia, where my brother Scott is. But over in Mississippi, they're just getting absolutely hammered. So do me a favor, tell me what it's like. It's 69 degrees in Tucson, Arizona, where Don Ledger is, which is cool. Steve Hayes, sorry for your luck. It's 84 degrees in Florida. Dude, I'm coming. Oh, but you guys got tornadoes today. So not only is Mother Nature throwing snow at everybody, but they're throwing tornadoes at Florida down there. So it's absolutely crazy. So these are my notes for the day. Let's see. We're going to do these. We're going to do those. And we're going to do a little bit of those. Remember, these are only my opinions, my very, very carefully thought out and very carefully considered opinions. And then we're going to do a little bit of this number right here. We're going to talk about a conversation I had with a friend of mine because they were talking about doctoring evidence inside of the impeachment. And doctoring evidence is it legal? Is it not legal? Is an impeachment trial the same as going to court? Can you say whatever you want to say? Can you get away with whatever you want to get away with? It's one of those funny things. It's like right on the edge of what you can and what you cannot do. Anyway, so I made some comments, staying with my philosophy on the subject. And the next thing you know is somebody kind of pushed back and said, well, that's a terrible thing. And I was like, well, I mean, that's just the way that it is, because I have considered the ramifications of saying that somebody is guilty before they go to trial and are judged, before they get judged by a jury of their peers. And that's one of the big things. So when you start thinking about the way that our country runs, the way that our country was set up, you are protected by the Constitution of the United States with certain unalienable rights, and among those is the Fifth Amendment, and we're going to talk about that. So with that being said, let's start off with Happy President's Day, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your day off, freezing all across the country. I don't know whether this storm came down just for President's Day, but it seems to be holding and gripping on to our country like nobody else. Been watching the Weather Channel all day long. Apparently Memphis, Tennessee got 8 inches last night and today, and they're going to get another 8 to 12 inches tomorrow and in the coming days. So that was the last report that I saw from there, and that is absolutely crazy. In Memphis, Tennessee, home to Elvis and the Memphis Blues, and they're not used to snow. I'm just telling you right now, they're not used to snow. We're in Bossier City, Louisiana right now. We're not used to snow down here. Now, I could tell you that I'm used to driving in the snow, and I am used to driving in the snow. I can drive like a son of a gun in the snow, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to endanger anybody else. And if I decide to go out or on the street and other people decide to go out on the street, it's going to be just absolutely carnage, because not that many people are supposed to be out on the streets when it's snowing, and we have the possibility of losing electricity in large swaths of our country. Now, Happy President's Day. Does anybody know why we celebrate President's Day? That's a question for the crowd. Throw it out there. And let me know why we celebrate President's Day. Because I know why we celebrate President's Day, but I don't know if enough people know why we celebrate President's Day. So let's see. Let's get the weather reports. Darla Stewart Bennett says, we call it popcorn snow, but then the real stuff came in. She lives in Cabot, Arkansas, so then they got the real stuff. Bruce Lund said 24 degrees, have not had any snow in weeks. So that would all be all the way up there in Alaska. It's colder than a well digger's bucket in Cabot, Arkansas. That's not exactly how I say it, Darla. I say colder than a well digger's backside. Or other language. But we're trying to keep this G-rated for all the kids so that they can watch. Trump caused this weather. Thank you, Greg. It's all Trump's fault. If it's not Trump's fault, it's one of his family members, or at least somebody on the right, because, you know, it's global warming and stuff. Everybody that believes in petroleum products, it's your fault, because it's causing global warming, which causes the temperature swings to be so extreme. Although we have not seen a storm like this in the United States of America in at least 3 decades. Don Schwinghammer. Hello, Don Schwinghammer. How you doing? Glad to hear from you. Liberty and justice for all. Amen. That's what I'm talking about. Mark Alcantara, just another day in quarantine here. Mark, I'm so sorry to hear that you're in quarantine, buddy. Hopefully you're doing better. And Don Ledger said it paid off. Don Swinghammer said, ops normal in Utah, snowed the last 3 days. And here's what the great thing is about Utah. I love where you are, Don, and I'm going to tell you, I used to go up into the mountains, and it is absolutely beautiful skiing up in Utah. And if you didn't know how to drive in the snow in Utah, you would starve to death. You would literally die in Utah every day of the year in most places in Utah if you didn't know how to drive in the snow. The difference is that we are not mentally prepared and physically able to go out in the streets in Arkansas and in Louisiana or Mississippi. Alabama's getting hit. Texas, Oklahoma, we're not mentally or physically prepared to go handle that cold weather. Therefore, less people need to be on the road. And right now in Texas, oh, by the way, here's the ironic thing about Texas. There are reports out there of wind turbines freezing in Texas because the wind stopped blowing in Texas last night. Snow fell on all the wind turbines, and then froze them, and then the ice did not settle symmetrically on the blades of the wind turbine. So when they went to go start them up, it started destroying the engines. So they had to shut down all the green energy in the state. So they're not getting any wind power out in Texas, which accounts to up to 20% of their grid. So just want to let you know, if you're a big fan of renewable energy like wind, you might want to say, could we survive as a country right now if we only had wind and solar? Because what's happening on the solar panels is the solar panels are on the houses, the snow is falling down, the ice is accumulating on them, the sun cannot get through those. So that means that everybody only has the power that's in their batteries. As soon as the batteries run out, that means the people that are relying on solar are also screwed. So wind power, screwed. Solar power, screwed. And as long as we're going to have Snomeggedon, if this is going to happen on a regular basis, we might want to rethink shutting down the XL pipeline or any other pipeline, or drilling for oil, or squeezing the shale in order to get oil out of that. And I'm not saying that I'm not for renewable energy. I'm for renewable energy. I'm just in the form of, number one, hydroelectric. Number two, small nuclear plants. Number three, other sustainable things that are renewable that they're trying to come up with. But right now, solar and wind are not our friends. They're just not our friends. So I'm sorry to all my people that are on the left-hand side that are going, we need to do renewables. Well, you might need to do renewables, but backing it up with petroleum might sound like a good idea, and the coal. So anyway, question to President's Day. Didn't we join Washington and Lincoln's birthday making it President's Day? Darla Stewart with a good answer right there. My family in San Antonio is having rolling blackouts. Let's talk about that pipeline. There you go. Mark Alctor, all the solar panels are covered in snow. That is true. The left doesn't care. They want to just see people die. That's not necessarily true. No worries. We got a global warming on the... Thanks, Greg. We got global warming on the way. All right, so here's the deal with President's Day. After George Washington died, they were like, hey, man, that dude's awesome. Not only was he the commander of the Revolutionary Army, but he was a person that decided to not be the king of America and decided to help form the first government of the United States, and he became our first president. He was born on February 22nd, and after his death, people went, God, I miss that guy. Whoa, I really miss that guy. You know what? We should celebrate George's birthday every single year. We should have a day. So that was actually one of the first holidays in the United States of America. And up until much later, it was the only national holiday that was based around an individual. How about that? So we actually have a holiday that's based around an individual. Trivia question number 3, or trivia question number 2. What is the only other federal holiday that is after an individual? What's the only federal holiday that is nationally recognized by the federal government as a federal holiday? Because today is President's Day, and I just want to throw that out there. There's another one that's after an individual. Which one is that? So, well, we'll get to that. All right, so back to Snowmageddon, because I'm doing President's Day and I'm doing Snowmageddon all together tonight. I'm kind of froggy. If you can't tell, I am froggy, man. Middle America is being froggy out there. The cold makes me excited. All right, so Snowmageddon. So my dad, I love my dad. So my dad, just right before I came in here, my dad goes, it's going to be minus 8 degrees in the morning. And I was like, minus 8 degrees? Wow, how did it get so doggone cold? You know, because the way that my mind works is 70 degrees is perfect. 60 degrees is starting to get a little chilly. I got to throw a jacket on for my motorcycle. 50 degrees is basically the bottom of my comfortable motorcycle riding stuff because I don't have any electric suits to wear. And then I will ride all the way down to 40 degrees on my motorcycle because anytime you get below that, you start having to worry about roads getting too close to the freezing point and water freezing over and getting the road slicker. So as things get colder, things get more brittle. As things get more brittle, like your tires, the road friction doesn't hold motorcycles up as well. And if you ever get to zero on a motorcycle, two wheels and balance is not good. So 32 degrees is frozen in my world, which is Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is 32 degrees. Celsius is 0 because Celsius 0 is based on when water freezes. So 0 Celsius is when water freezes, and 100 degrees Celsius is when water boils. 100 degrees is when water boils in Celsius. How about that? Little known fact. So Celsius actually makes sense, but Celsius can also change depending on the pressure and depending on altitude, pressure, and stuff like that. So Celsius is kind of like solid, 32, and then 100. And then Fahrenheit is 0 is where water freezes. So then it goes 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 33. I can count backwards. So here's what the interesting thing is about that. All day long, my dad's been looking at me going, well, it's going to be minus 4 degrees. And I was like, all right, 32 minus 4 would be 28. I'm doing public math. Don't let me mess this up. So it's going to be 28 degrees. Well, 28 degrees isn't too bad. And then he goes like, well, no, it's going to be minus 6. Now it's going to be minus 8. Now it's going to be minus 10. And I was like, man, this doesn't even make sense to me. That is he talking about Fahrenheit or Celsius? So I look at his phone and he accidentally put it on Celsius. And then I had to change it. And my dad was like, oh, well, that doesn't sound too bad. And I was like, 14 degrees doesn't sound bad, Dad? That's horrible. Nobody needs to be in at 14 degrees Celsius. All right, so and then these are the numbers that I wrote down for that. So 32 equals 0 Fahrenheit, 32, 0 Celsius. Minus 4 Fahrenheit is minus 20 Celsius. 39 degrees Fahrenheit is 4 Celsius. So, welcome to Snomeggedon. I hope you're getting smarter. Back to the President's Day question. What is the only other federal holiday after an individual? And that would be... Lance Jones comes up with the correct answer. Mark Alcantara 2. Bob Macon. Hey, Bob. Hey, Lance. Hey, everybody. That's right. Martin Luther King. Congratulations, everybody. That was after the death of Martin Luther King. Several years later, it was introduced in Congress. It was passed as a federal law. So now that gives us 2 federal holidays that are named after individuals. The first one was George Washington, but that has now been combined under the Federal Holiday Act instituted by Congress, which recognizes all presidents. So here's the funny thing about that. I'm a middle American. I have had 46 presidents in my lifetime. All 46 of them, even the ones that weren't my president, are still my president. So everybody that's out there that's saying Joe Biden's not your president, congratulations. He's thrown in with the president of the United States, George Washington, president of the United States, Hoover, and Roosevelt, and Adams, and all the other ones. Delacroix, whoever the heck else is out there. Joe Biden is actually recognized as president on President's Day. So congratulations to Mr. Biden. Congratulations to President Biden, President Trump, President Obama, President Bush, President Carter, and President other Bush, because they're still all the living presidents in the United States of America. So good on them. Happy presidents to you, gentlemen. Greatly appreciate that. So, all right, what else we got? All right. I spent the last 2 days loading all of my content up to YouTube and onto Rumble. And I need to repeat that. I just loaded all of my video, well, not all of them, but I loaded the majority of them up since November of last year on Rumble and on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and you can look up Mickey in the Middle, and you can find me on YouTube. And you can also go to Rumble or Rumble on the App Store, and I also loaded up all of my videos on Rumble. Now, Rumble has become my management company, and they're going to make sure that all of my videos are monetized so that I can start getting paid for my content. Because for those of you who have not followed the show, I had all of my videos demonetized at one time for my other account on YouTube. And the reason that they demonetized Mickey Spillane was nothing political, but it had to do with content. And they said that my content was depicting war because a lot of my songs were about my time over in Afghanistan and Iraq, and about coming home and about situations that happened over there. So they said that they were going to demonetize me. I fought it. I didn't hear back from them, and then I just kind of blew it off. And I just accept the fact that I no longer am making tens of dollars every single year from YouTube on that. But now I've remonetized all of my material. So if you're looking to see the backlog of Mickey in the Middle and you don't want to do it on Facebook, you don't want to scroll through here, if you're up on YouTube, I am now on YouTube under Mickey in the Middle, and also on Rumble under all of my stuff. So I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. So thank you very much for my all of your support. I am still on Twitter. No, as a matter of fact, I'm not on Twitter. How about that? I want you to think about the companies that you support as a middle American. The companies that you support, are you willing to put on a filter hat? Today, I'm going to be filtered by Facebook. Now, right now, I'm being filtered by Facebook. They can demonetize me. They can deplatform me. They can label all of my material on there. But right now, make no qualms about it. I am being censored by Facebook. That means I have to self-censor. That I have to self-censor, but they have control of all of my content and can determine whether my content is acceptable for your viewing pleasure. So, when I was on Twitter, I decided that I didn't want the Twitter filter on me, and I don't want the Facebook filter on me. So what I did is I quit at Mick Spillane on Twitter, and I canceled my Twitter account. So you will no longer be able to Twitter at me. You'll no longer be able to hashtag me and get my attention on Twitter. Now, I did this because I think that I need to send a message to all of the companies as a middle American about what I find acceptable as a company that I'm dealing with and as a company that I don't want to deal with. And I want you to do the same thing. I want you to think about what censorship hat you communicate through. Because if you want to call somebody on the telephone, you just call somebody on the telephone and you can talk all you want. You can go out and you can say whatever you want. You can yell at somebody, you can scream at somebody, you can threaten somebody. The phone company is not going to censor you. They're not going to listen to your conversation, and they're not going to censor you. They're not going to label that. You can send anything through the mail that you want. Last year, some people sent some very, very, very not attractive gifts made of poop to a friend of mine. And she had done something that was her legal obligation to do. She had legally obligated to do this. And in the process of doing her job, somebody got mad at her for doing her job and started sending her feces through the mail. Because apparently there's a company out there called Get Even or something like that where they will send feces to your favorite people. Or they will send other things that are much more rude than feces. But guess what? Nobody filters that. You can just put feces in the mail and they can send it. The mail's not going to stop them. UPS isn't going to stop them. FedEx is not going to stop them. You can send poop to people, which I think is funny on some level. You have to admit it's kind of funny on some level. But nobody's censoring that. But for some reason, we have come to accept that people that we communicate through, right? They're only supposed to be a platform so that we can talk to each other. When we talk to each other as Middle Americans, we should be able to say whatever we want, but no. So these companies are putting up these barriers, and they're saying that you are not smart enough to be able to figure out who you want to talk to, who you don't want to talk to. And I want you to think about this. Let's talk about the impeachment for just a second. Not about the impeachment itself, but if somebody put out there, I support Donald Trump on their feed, and they have 1,000 friends, and half of their friends write on there, Donald Trump sucks, or he needs to go to jail, or it was an insurrection. And the other 500 people in the crowd all put, I defend Donald Trump. He didn't cause the insurrection. They doctored the material that they presented at the impeachment trial. The House managers cheated. He had great lawyers. If they go back and forth, if those two groups go back and forth on your friend's page, why in the hell should Facebook get involved with that? I have friends on both sides of the aisle when it comes to politics. I've got almost as many liberal friends as I do conservative friends that are inside of my groups that I talk to on a regular basis and I share pages with. And inside of those groups, we have very robust conversations every single day about politics, about Middle America, about how we treat each other, about civil discourse, about the Constitution of the United States, about globalism, about global warming, about how we're supposed to get through all this stuff. And every once in a while, Facebook steps in and throws one of us off. And everybody goes, oh, I wonder where X, Y, and Z went. Well, they got thrown off because they started a page that Twitter and Facebook didn't like, and all of a sudden now they get thrown off, and then they come back in a week and go, or 24 hours. So it started off to be 24 hours. Now people are starting to get up to a month. But all your friends are being censored. And it's got to the point where they're self-censoring. So you're not getting the real picture of who your friends are. Well, I decided I didn't want to take Twitter anymore. Because Twitter basically is picking winners and losers, and they started off as the original free speech platform in the Arab Spring, when all the Arab countries in the Middle East decided that the people wanted to be free. They wanted to be free in their communications. They want to be, free in their thought processes. They want to redress grievances against their government. And that's when Twitter went from like a little bitty teeny weeny company of $100 million and blew up into the multi-billion-dollar company that it is. They didn't pick winners and losers. They didn't pick the government over the people. They didn't pick the people over the government. They just let it be a free-for-all. And the government couldn't stop them because Twitter said, well, it is what it is, but now Twitter is censoring people. And they're censoring you. And what's worse is they're causing you to self-censor. And when you start self-censoring, I want you to think about what it does to your mind and about what kind of discourse. Oh, well, I'm not allowed to say that because I might be punished by Facebook. Can you imagine that? That's like walking into your kitchen and saying, my mom's here, so I'm not allowed to say certain things. So Facebook has become your mama. Hey, mama, Facebook. Hey, mama, Twitter. All of the social platforms are doing that because now we've been conditioned to filter everything that we say, and we're not allowed to have those freedom of thoughts and those freedom of speech. And that's okay. That's why I put everything on Facebook, or why I put everything from Facebook on Twitter, it's why I got rid of Twitter, why I put everything on Rumble and on YouTube, and why I will continue to go and produce here for you guys, but then I will transfer all of my material over there. Because Facebook's not paying me to do this. Right? And what got me thinking about this is the actress that was on The Mandalorian. I can't remember what her name is. Serrano or something like that. Right? They threw her off. She said some things. I said something about it last week, but they threw her off and they were like, hey, look here, we're going to censor you. We're going to fire you from the show, although you didn't say anything that was that bad. You kind of tongue-in-cheeked it. you said some stuff that wasn't that bad, and then all of a sudden Disney. So now the next question that I have is, do I get off of Disney Plus? Because I don't like what that company has done. And I want you to think about that. You know, what is Disney Plus doing? Basically firing people for political views. And can you be fired for your political views? Are you that secure in your job that you can say for certainty that you will not be punished or you will not be fired for having political views? Because in the United States of America, you don't have to have any reason for firing somebody. You can fire anybody you want to in the United States of America. You cannot fire them for all of their protected classes, which are race, religion, age, handicap, sexual preference. You can't fire people for those, but you can fire them for not wearing shoes to work. You can fire them for political opinion. You can fire them for wearing a wrong shirt or a wrong hat. And apparently now you're allowed to fire them for their political opinion. And here's the deal is, I want it that way. I want it to be that way. I want you to live with the consequences that you have brought about yourself. But I want those companies to understand that I am not going to support them if they continue with that behavior. If I buy something from them, like I am buying Disney Plus, I am endorsing their view that they do not believe that political speech should be protected. They believe that a political opinion or a post is more important than the performance of somebody in their duties at the store. And I understand that people have the right to hire and fire whoever they want to. I've already said that one time. I will continue to say that again. But nobody got fired before a few years ago over political opinions unless those political opinions were so extreme that it brought severe discredit to the company. And now anything you say, you can get fired for. So I want you to be very, very careful and think about what you post and whether it's going to affect you and your middle class, middle American lifestyle, because it is a real thing. So, with that being said, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Mickey. This is Mickey in the Middle. It's been a great show. Let me get a couple more comments in. All right, so Mark Alcatraz says, screw Facebook on Facebook. Love that, love that. Bob Megan says, that's BS. I just had this last weekend, 60 miles an hour, wind blowing snow, obviously sideways. I had snow dunes. Hi, Carolyn. I am so sorry. Christmas, Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, Martin Luther King Jr. is the second person that did that. So thank you a lot. Screw Facebook. No phone sensors yet. No, we don't have phone sensors yet. But you know what we do have, Bob? We have the Patriot Act that says that they can collect metadata on all of your electronic things that you have. And because they're collecting that metadata on you, they can literally go and check your credit cards. They can check your phone calls. They can check your phone records, find out who you called, who you didn't call, in the name of preventing terrorism. And the U.S. Patriot Act, they used to post how many terrorist threats that they stopped every year, and the number was not outrageously large, and it was minor stuff. So they're still tracking you, Bob. Sorry about that. Although you have the right to say whatever you want to on a phone, don't think that the government's not listening. They are. However, AT&T's not going to stop you, and Sprint's not going to stop you, and T-Mobile and all those other ones. So Lance Jones said, federal Second Amendment versus city, county, states invoke Second Amendment, sanctuary cities, counties, and states. Some states are already involved. Yeah, listen, I want us to be a sanctuary city for the Second Amendment. That's what I would like. And because the federal government, that's getting into the 10th Amendment, which says that anything that's not explicitly to the federal government needs to remain at the states. Listen, I don't care whether California gets rid of all their guns. I don't care whether California gets rid of all their guns or New York gets rid of all their guns. I only care about my interstate transport going to Maine, where I have to cross New York in order to get to Maine, and I cannot carry concealed across New York. That bothers the crap out of me, because New York goes from ocean to Canada. I can't get into Canada with a gun, and I'm not going to drive my boat around New York City in order to get north of New York City in order to get to Massachusetts to visit my relatives or go to Maine. And the federal government is supposed to protect your Second Amendment rights when you go in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 10th, 12th, 27th Amendment rights, wherever you go into the United States of America, guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. And supposed to be guaranteed by the federal the judiciary. So that's my problem. I shouldn't have to declare my city a sanctuary city away from the federal government, and that will fail as being unconstitutional infringement by the federal government if they do that. And the damn Supreme Court better back that up. So, thank you very much for bringing that up. Folks who censor don't want us to personally self-govern. Their rulings are subjective to their political outlook. Yes, ma'am, Darlis. That is definitely true. What terrifies me most when I don't choose to respond to posts of my Facebook friends or against a political statement. I know. You get scared. You don't want to be taken out. You know what I mean? You said Snomeggedon and global warming in the same show. That's it. Facebook jail. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. I gotta like that and laugh. Oh, look at that. I just laughed at the comment. Okay, Greg. What will happen to me then? NSA, Bruce, Alaska's keeping our guns. Good for you, Bruce. You need them for all those moose you go up there and kill. So, hey, that's it for Mickey in the Middle. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Remember, every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Central, right here wherever I am and right there wherever you are. These have been my carefully considered personal opinions, and I hope that you can share this with the world. So remember to like, share, ring the notification bell. That way you know when I come on. And then tell all your friends. Remember, I'm on Rumble, Mickey in the Middle, and YouTube, Mickey in the Middle. And thanks a lot. I love you. See you tomorrow night. You guys have a great one. And remember, live, laugh, love. Peace, everybody. See ya. Bye.